Mercury in Sagittarius, November 2nd. Time to prepare for the final Mercury retrograde of 2024. Hello, my name is Eliane-Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot reader. And in this video, I'm going to talk about Mercury in Sagittarius in general, which will be a 2-month storyline. Mercury usually buzzes through a sign in 3 weeks, but because it will be retrograde in Sagittarius this year, it's actually going to be a 2-month storyline beginning November 2nd, taking us all the way to January 8th. The retrograde period is actually November 25th till December 15th. But it's time to prepare now because Mercury is entering the pre-shadow of the retrograde period November 6th, meaning that if we can sign our contracts, make our travel plans, order any important items that we want to be here by the holidays, do that all before November 6th if possible. Because once we get to the November 6th, November 7th period, everything that happens from that point forward is likely to change. We'll have to come back to it, have redos. There may be mistakes, errors, details that were overlooked, etc. All that mercurial kind of stuff. So I'm going to talk about all of that in this video and the particular dates to watch out for. But first I want to say, if you're watching this on Instagram, I'm only going to post the first 5 minutes here. The entire video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane-Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane-Nicole. So please find me there. I'll put a link in the profile bio on Instagram to get there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment, please share. It all helps me in the algorithm, helps me grow my community, helps me grow my channel, puts me in a position to continue to give these free astrological offerings. Also, if you're watching on Instagram, please make sure that you're following astrology.tarot.Eliane-Nicole. Please like, please comment, please share. And now I'm competing with the garbage truck outside. Garbage trucks, big theme in America right now. If you know, you know. Anyway, so Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury is considered in its detriment in Sagittarius because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is about the big picture. Mercury is about the details. Jupiter is about faith. Mercury is about the facts. So there is an inherent tension when Mercury is in this sign. Details tend to get lost in the shuffle already just when Mercury is in Sagittarius normally. So you can see why the Mercury retrograde season that's ahead, November 25th to December 15th, is kind of poised for there to be a lot of chaos and confusion and details getting lost in the shuffle, misunderstandings, miscommunications, and things of that nature. Now, there are a lot of great qualities about Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury in Sagittarius in general is very enthusiastic, very optimistic, sees the glass half full. Mercury in Sagittarius is a philosopher and a truth seeker. You know, the shadow side is he can embellish upon the truth. There can be toxic positivity. He can be the con man. In people, Mercury in Sagittarius is a lawyer, it's a professor, it's a priest, you know, it can be a comedian. Mercury in Sagittarius has a very good sense of humor. It can be a very satirical sense of humor. Mercury in Sagittarius can talk too much. It can be the pontificator. It's very blunt. So there can be foot and mouth syndrome during a Mercury in Sagittarius transit, and that's even before he goes retrograde. So you can imagine how once he goes retrograde, that ramps up the kind of maybe shadowy topics of Mercury and Sagittarius, which again, you know, foot and mouth syndrome, telling tall tales, embellishing upon the truth. So I want to talk about some of the transits, the aspects. So November 2nd, Mercury enters Sagittarius. On November 5th, he is forming a sextile to Vesta. This is an opportunity to talk about what is sacred to us in terms of relationships, art, beauty, and justice. These are the Vesta and Libra themes. Also, you know, for the collective, I mean, I think it's going to be a big talk about justice and law and foreign affairs, and you know, what is sacred to us and what are we devoted to around these types of topics. November 6th, Mercury in Sagittarius is forming a trine to Rahu, the North Node in Aries. This is conversation and discussion about our new North Star, the direction that we are headed, and a new start that we are making as a nation, as a world, as individuals in our personal life. You know, we've done a lot of letting go in the past year and a half in the Libra sector of our chart, and now this is a conversation about the new North Star. This is getting into alignment with that new North Star. This is fire, so there's a lot of inspiration and enthusiasm and action here. And on November 7th is technically when Mercury enters the pre-shadow. November 6th, 7th, the pre-shadow of retrograde, meaning all of the mercurial things that begin at this point when Mercury reaches 6 degrees of Sagittarius, this is all terrain we'll be coming back to. So this is again around conversations, around writing, around contracts, emails, texts, you know, deliveries, counting, accounting, you know, vote counts. Again, this is terrain we will be crossing and coming back to again and again over the next couple of months. So this is a patch of real estate in our personal charts that we're really going to get to know. Wherever 6 degrees Sagittarius is to 22 degrees Sagittarius, we're going forward, back, and forward. Now, astrologers know that planets are not really moving backwards. This is what it appears to be doing from the perspective of planet Earth because of the speeds of the planets circling the sun. And this appearance from our geocentric earthly perspective has a very significant oracular meaning. And that's what we are describing and interpreting as astrologers. And when we're dealing with Mercury retrogrades, it's about communication issues. And so that's why I say, even though the retrograde doesn't technically begin until November 25th, November 6th, November 7th, these dates, we're going to start to see the issues that we will be returning to, reviewing, reflecting on, you know, reliving, recounting once Mercury does go retrograde November 25th. So it's a good time to start journaling, to start taking note of the important conversations and communications that you're having at this time, knowing that we will likely be revisiting it around Thanksgiving to mid-December. Now, November 12th, Mercury in Sagittarius is forming a square with Saturn in Pisces. A square is a hard aspect. It's a 90-degree angle. This is a conflict or a challenge. This can be a conflict or challenge with authority. Saturn represents authority. This can be a conflict or a challenge around discipline, around work, around some kind of structure or system within our lives. This is in our personal lives, and also this translates to the collective as well. When you're dealing with Sagittarius and Pisces, we're dealing with religion and spirituality. We're dealing with philosophical belief systems or ideological belief systems coming into conflict, coming into challenge. And a square is often a challenge that requires an action of some kind to take place. When you're dealing with Pisces and Sagittarius, again, this can also have to do with travel, particularly travel overseas or travel by the seas, because Pisces is the ocean. So this can be issues for the collective. This can be shipping shutting down. This can be international travel issues, like overseas travel or something shutting down. And again, Mercury will be coming back to this square with Saturn again and again. And I'm going to do separate videos for each leg of the Mercury retrograde, because again, it's going to be a 2-month storyline overall. So right now, I want to focus mostly on November 2nd when Mercury enters Sagittarius until November 25th when it goes retrograde in this video. But I did want to call out that it's time to prepare for the retrograde season now. And what can we do to prepare? Again, I don't remember if I said it already, but book your travel plans before November 6th, before November 6th or 7th. Book, order any important items that you want to be here by Christmas before November 6th. Have any important procedures you need to have before November 6th. Make any contractual agreements or plans, or do all of that kind of stuff before November 6th if you can, because once we hit November 7th, we're kind of in the territory of everything is going to be changing and changeable and postponed and canceled. Details are likely to get lost in the shuffle, misunderstandings, miscommunications. We're getting into very kind of confused, chaotic territory from November 6th through the new year, really. But especially the worst of it is the 25th through mid-December. Thanksgiving weekend looks like, excuse my language, but a shit show for travel. It looks like there's probably going to be a lot of cancellations, delays, flights being grounded. And so if you don't have to travel during Thanksgiving season, it's not a good season for traveling. Now, November 14th, Mercury is forming a sextile with Black Moon Lilith. So this looks like there's an opportunity to discuss topics that are normally suppressed or repressed. There's an opportunity to express rage or anger in a very healthy way. And this is personal and for the collective. Shadowy topics around women are going to be at the forefront. Dark goddess topics, dark feminine topics. Likely abortion is one of them, abuse of women, probably issues around Black women are going to be at the forefront. And in our personal lives, because this is Black Moon Lilith is in Libra, we may be talking about, the darker topics around justice, around law, art, beauty, relationships, marriages. This might be where you see people expressing darker style, things like that. And when you're dealing with Mercury too, I forget to say this, but we're dealing with writers and what the topics that writers are addressing and writing about during this season. And in general, the law is going to be a big topic for the collective during this entire Mercury season, both while Mercury is direct and when Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius has a lot to do about law. And so with this Lilith aspect, you know, we have been dealing a lot with the dark underbelly of the law, because there's so much about law that can be left up to interpretation. It's not so black and white, and people can use the law to manipulate and to, you know, have power over others. And so all of this is going to be a big discussion during the Mercury in Sagittarius season, and particularly when Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius. And so on November 18th, Mercury in Sagittarius is opposing Jupiter in Gemini. Now, this is an interesting alignment because Jupiter's in Mercury's sign and Mercury's in Jupiter's sign, and they're going to be opposing each other. So that's an argument, that's a debate about the law, and that is oppositional ideological positions and oppositional philosophies, and you know, opposing truths, you know. And that's what's so crazy, because when it comes to truth, we all think that there is like one truth, you know, our truth, but different there, you know, truth isn't even black and white, you know. And that's what there's going to be a lot of discussion of in this period, you know. And I can really see in America how this is playing out with the election, but this is going to be going on all over the world. I'm in America, we have this important election unfolding, so I'm definitely looking at this astrology through that lens, and I can already see how these debates, there's going to be debates over what's legal, what isn't legal, and around the election, you know, and what, you know, just we're going to see these Mercury and Sagittarius figures coming to the forefront, which is lawyers and philosophers and professors and comedians to kind of talk about what's going on the public stage. Now, in our personal lives, you really have to look at the house that Sagittarius rules in your chart, because this is an area of life that you are going to be having a lot of communication around for the remainder of this year and in the beginning of the new year. If you don't know the house Sagittarius rules in your chart, contact me for a reading. I would love to sit down with you and look at it, because this is a great time to get some awareness of how you want to show up in communication during the rest of this year in this area. And I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I would love to read for you. It's my joy. And it's also a great time to get somebody the gift of a reading for the holidays. I make really cute digital gift certificates, and you know, it's an interesting present. It's a unique present because it's something that people wouldn't necessarily get for themselves. And we're heading into such an exciting time in 2025 when so much in the world is changing. So it's really an optimum time for a reading. But I digress. So this November 18th of Mercury opposing Jupiter is, you know, you see really big ideas being shared. You see, you know, a lot of philosophical conversations, philosophical quandaries, debates, you know, big promises being made. And this can also be, you know, Mercury opposing Jupiter on the Sagittarius Gemini axis. You know, this can be cons going on. You know, this can be the con man. This can be the, you know, this can be toxic positivity. This can be a lot of talk, but can it be followed up with action kind of thing? And there's so much more I can say about that transit that I may do another video as it comes along. But November 19th, Mercury in Sagittarius is trining Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries. And so in our personal lives, there's an opportunity for a healing communication of some kind, a healing conversation or letter being written. This can be talking to a therapist or a doctor, but it looks like good news around healing. It can be, an enlightening philosophical conversation with a mentor that helps with your direction in life. In general, I feel like, especially in America, this is going to be a time where we're seeing our leaders or our mentors, our religious leaders coming to the forefront to try to heal the nation. Comedians trying to talk about what's going on in a way that's going to heal the nation. November 25th is when Mercury stations to go retrograde. And I'm going to come back to do another video about the retrograde season. But I wanted to stop in and at least talk about the general qualities of Mercury in Sagittarius before the retrograde, just in general, so we can kind of get to know this energy, because it's going to be present again from November 2nd all the way to January 8th, even though the retrograde period is just November 25th to December 15th. The pre-shadow begins November 6th, so we do want to start to prepare. And again, I would love to take you through where this is happening in your chart and see how it's personal to you, because how these transits affect us will differ from person to person depending on our own personal astrological coding. But you can gain a lot from watching these videos and just understanding how the energy presents in general. And so thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful Mercury in Sagittarius season. See you soon. Stay tuned for more videos to come. Bye now.